Hi there, this is Utsav and you are watching DUNIFX. I welcome you to the third lecture of the ball animation series. Also, before starting this lecture, if you haven't already seen my previous video where I have told some of the very common and basic tools with their hotkeys, I recommend you to please go and watch that video and then watch this one. So without any further ado, let's get started. So let's begin our lecture today. And firstly, I need to enable my shortcuts so that you can see what I click or type. Here it is. Now, let's delete the cube. And for that, let's select the cube and hit X to delete it. Now, we have to add two mesh here. First is the UV sphere, which will be our ball. And the second is the plane for the ball to bounce on. So let's start with the plane. Hit Shift A and under the mesh choose plane. Now let's scale it. So hit S to scale it. Let's make it larger. This is fine. Now let's add the UV sphere. Hit Shift A again and under the mesh choose UV sphere. And as we can see, half of the ball is already inside the plane. That's because our cursor is here, so everything you add will be placed here. So let's bring it up, and for that let's hit G, and we need to move it along the Z axis, so hit Z and let's move it up. Here it's fine, still a bit left, so let's hit G again, Z, and this is fine. Let's take a close look. Let's place it on the plane, and this is fine now. Right. And for the time being, let's hide the plane. So for that, select the plane, and you can see an I button here. Let's click it, and the plane will hide. Now, first, we need to model the ball in such a way that it looks like a tennis ball. So let me show you how a tennis ball looks like. So as you can see, a white line here follows a circular path which goes from this end here to another end, right? So we'll be going to model this today. So let's start. Let's hit 1 on the number pad to go to the front view. Yeah. Now let's model it. For that, we need to go into the edit mode. Firstly, select the ball and hit tab to go to the edit mode. Now we need to select half of the ball so that we can get that circular track. Select half of the ball to get that texture. Let's make a quick box here. As you can see, the ball is selected while this half is not. But let's take a look from this angle here. What do we see? We see only 1/4 of the part is selected, not this one. That's because we cannot look through the ball. So for that, we'll be going to the X-ray mode here. So click this one here. Now you can see through the ball, you can see the vertices that lie beneath this line. Okay, now let's hit 1 again. Let's make another box, and to make a more precise box, hit B to get this type of grid. Now when you select it, you can see half of the ball has been selected, right? Now hit 1 again on your number pad. Let's separate them. That is, this half and this half, we need to separate them so that we can rotate this one, right? Now hit P. By the way, if you don't remember the hotkey, just right click and you can see here separate, and the hotkey is P. So let's hit P and we'll be going to separate it on the basis of selection. So separate on selection. Now let's come back to the object mode, hit tab. Let's select this part, hit R, and we need to rotate it on x-axis at 90 degrees. right? You can already see the texture of the white line has been made, okay? But we need to firstly extrude it in. So for that, we need to firstly join the two parts, right? So select this one. By the way, you can select multiple objects by holding shift and left click. So let's select this, hit shift and select this and this, right? Let's hit Control J to join them, but you can still see a circular line inside the ball. That is because there is a microscopic level difference left between them, right? So for that, we need to merge them together so that the vertices overlap and don't create any type of gap, right? So let's hit 1 on the number pad again. Let's go to the edit mode. Let's hit A to select all of the mesh, right? Now let's hit right click. Let's go to merge vertices. By the way, the hotkey here, it says M, and we need to merge them by distance, right? As you can see, removed 32 vertices. That means now two parts are combined together without any of the gap between them, right? Now firstly, let's come out of the X-ray mode, right? And let's come back again from the edit mode to the object mode, hit tab, and let's shade it smooth. So hit right click, select the object and hit right click. As you can see, the option here, it says shade smooth. Yeah, the ball is now smooth. Now the very important step, let's make it look like a tennis ball, right? Let's hit 1 on the number pad again and let's go to the edit mode, right? Now we are to select only these two lines here. For that, hit Alt and left click. Let's select this line here, right? Let's select it, hit Alt and left click to select all of the edge loop, that is this whole line. Let's select this one as well. So hit Alt and shift to select multiple, right? Now we need to extrude it in. So if we scale it, you can see whole of the mesh is going with it, okay? But we don't want that. So let's right click to cancel our selection. Let's first extrude it by hitting the hotkey E to extrude. Let's extrude it a bit this side and hit right click to cancel it. Now this particular area which is selected is a different object that lies within the ball, right? Now if we scale it this time, it won't take all of the vertices with it, right? So hit S and scale it a bit down, and this is fine, right? Now let's first assign this a color. So let's go to the material panel here, right? We are going to assign it a color. So let's hit new. Let's name it white because our middle line is a white color. Under the surface here, let's firstly choose principled BSDF. By the way, if you have something else selected, I will recommend you to choose the principled BSDF, right? Now, where it's written base color, choose white. Okay, hit assign. Now, we need to assign other areas a green color. You can see the ball is a bit yellowish and greenish, so we will assign it a green color. Now let's hit Ctrl I to invert the selection. Let's add a new material. Okay, let's hit new. Let's name it lime green. Okay, now choose a greenish color. I think this will be fine. Okay, and hit assign. Now let's go to the material viewport here. As you can see, this is the green part here and the middle one is white, right? Now, there's just one thing left. Let's go back to the edit mode, and we need to assign it a vertex group. I will tell you the work of the vertex group when we add the hairy structure to the ball, right? Now go to this option here which says object data properties, and where it's written vertex group, hit the plus icon, and where it's written groups, hit assign. Okay, let's go to the render view, and you can see the ball has a pretty much good look, right? Let's unhide the plane. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Now let's render it. For that, we first need to go to the render tab here, right? Let's choose from EV to cycles. You will be going to see this grainy structure here, and where it's written devices, choose GPU compute, and with that it will use your graphic processing unit, which will render it faster. By the way, if you don't have a GPU, you can anyway do it with GPU, but it will be much slower. Now, for rendering, we need to switch to the camera view. Hit 0 on your number pad, as you can see the camera view, but if we try to move it, we see we come out of the camera. So for that, hit N, and under the view here, tick where it's written camera to view. Hit N again, hit 0 on your number pad, and this time when you move it, you can see we don't come out of the camera, right? Let's assign this plane a color. Hit new. Let's assign this a light color. This much will be fine, right? Now let's render it. Let's take the camera a bit this side here, and this will be fine. Let's hit F12 to render. Also, you can choose from here where it's written render image, hit F12. So we'll be going to hit F12. Now this may take a couple of time depending upon your GPU. Mine is okayish GPU, so it will take pretty much time, say 1 minute maybe. I'll simply skip it, and we are done with it. As you can see, it took me 40 seconds, right? I know it doesn't look like a ball right now, but don't worry. When we assign it the texture, the hairy texture, it will definitely look like a ball, right? Let's save it. Hit on image, and where it's written save, let's make a new folder on the desktop. Let's make a new folder, let's name it tennis ball, right? Okay, let's enter. Let's open it, and we'll save this as PNG. Let's name it tennis ball. Hit save as image. Now this is saved as your image. Let's take a look. Here it is. Yeah, this looks pretty good, right? Now, so let's cut it. And in the next lecture, we will be going to make the animation, that is the bouncing ball animation. Also, we'll be going to assign it the hairy texture that makes it look like a real tennis ball. So don't miss that. If you have any type of query or you face any type of problem, please feel free to let me know in the comments below.